The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back, in case you're wondering, with George Case III. How are you, George?
Hey, I'm fine. I'm looking forward to this little session today. That's great.
Yes. I didn't say I'm Ralph Tycho with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and this is one of my favorite shows of the week because we just talk ball. And one of the people we talk ball with is Ronnie Rabinovich. He's here. He's got a guest. I'll leave him to introduce the guest. But Alan Blumkin is here. David Hubler is here. And we're about to get some great news from Ronnie. You brought someone who's never been to these airwaves before. And please introduce
He's a great guy.
Ronnie.
I sure will. Eric Davis is a terrific guy. He used to be called Eric the Red when he was with the Reds. And he was a tremendous player, a five-tool player. He was the first Major League Baseball player to hit 3 Grand Slams in 1 month. He was a 2-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner, 2-time Silver Slugger. He had the Roberto Clemente Award, and he's with the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. It's my great honor to have my friend Eric Davis on the show. Welcome, Eric.
Ron, how are you? This
Good.
is a bit of an awkward moment for me, but I must tell you that this is Eric Anthony Davis. I am a former major leaguer. I'm known as Eric Anthony, but I have picked up the last name of Davis recently within the last 2 years. I am the son of Willie Davis, former major leaguer. Yes, sir. So, yes,
yeah.
I really apologize for the mis-
You are definitely an interesting guest in whoever Davis is you represent. Let me tell you something, Willie Jr., if you will.
Yes, sir.
I played tennis with your dad on the day that Ford pardoned Nixon. It was Caesar's Palace.
Wow.
And, here was the threesome. It was yours truly, big name, right? Willie Davis, who wore a WD ring, a big shiny gold WD ring, and Dustin Hoffman was the third guy.
Wow, unbelievable.
Palace. It was a weekend that Ronnie's favorite performer of all time, Frank Sinatra, brought Nancy and Frank Jr. on stage at Caesar's Palace, and I got to see the three of them. I got to play tennis with your dad and Dustin Hoffman, and I wonder, did Willie ever mention that Ralph Tycho, the Jew boy from Queens?
No, he did not. He did not.
Okay,
and let me
shocked.
He did not. And let me just say so that everyone listening understands and you on the panel understand. I just found out about 2 years ago that Willie was my father through DNA testing. Yes, and this is something that I grew up not knowing. I didn't see my father past the age of about 4. Every family has a secret, and that was my secret growing up. And now it's out. The world knows now. The Davis family has embraced me. And, oddly enough, my father and I, we traveled the same path. I followed him, in his major league career. I became a major league baseball player. Even ended up playing for the same team. So it's a very unique story.
Eric, did you play with the Mets?
I did not play with the Mets. I played 5 years with the Houston Astros. I played a year with the Seattle Mariners. I played 2 years with the Cincinnati Reds, and Eric the great Eric Davis, the other Eric Davis, was my teammate. I played, 3 years with the Dodgers. I played a year in Japan, and that was it. So, my father's career and mine, it has a lot of parallels. My father was a much better player than I was, but it's just it's really like a dream-like state that I'm living in right now, and it's really wonderful thing that's happened in my life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
May I ask you how your the family that raised you has reacted to this?
The family that raised me has reacted like they always have, in support. When the rest of my family that raised me,
you are truly blessed.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, and really loved. And everybody's really happy for me and my family. People thought that I would be mad at my mother for keeping this from me, but I'm not. There were some circumstances surrounding why she did that I won't go into, but she was young and had to make some decisions, and she chose to raise me herself and not burden Willie with the responsibility of me during his playing career. And he had a family of his own at the time too. So
sure.
Yeah.
Now,
wow, this is really interesting.
This is incredibly interesting because I recently found out that I wasn't adopted, and that was quite a shock.
Wow.
Just a little humor there. Are you getting on with your half-siblings?
Yes, I am. I have not met all of them yet. I have 2 sisters, and I have a brother. I've met my brother. I've met some uncles, Willie's brothers. I've met a lot of my cousins. And it's something that's new and it's wonderful and it's just great.
Great.
They're receiving me well. It's just been like, they put their arms around me, and I just can't say, how happy I am about that.
Nice.
How's your dad doing? How's Willie doing?
Willie, he passed away in 2010.
He did. Okay.
Yes, he passed away in 2010.
I know he was up there pretty good.
Excuse me?
I know he was up there in age pretty good.
Well, he died. Yeah, he died right at 70. No, he didn't make it that far.
Okay.
He's gone and he passed away. But my father's memory will live forever. He was a great ball player. A lot of people have a lot of great stories that they've told me about him. We know a lot of the same people, and so it's just been a wonderful experience. Fred Clare, who was the manager, a general manager of the Dodgers, and the man who signed me to my contract with the Dodgers, had a very close relationship with my father, and he's shared a lot of stories with me about my father. I was just with Tommy Lasorda. Tommy Lasorda had a lot to do with signing my father. I was with both of them, these gentlemen, at a golf tournament in Glendale, California, a couple of months ago, and it was just a fantastic experience. And the more people are finding out about it, everybody's really happy for me. And again, people are telling me stories about my father, and he's in the history books as far as his career.
He is.
So
he is.
It's debatable on whether he should be in the Hall of Fame or not.
Yeah,
Pardon?
Absolutely. Eric, Tommy was not related, right?
No.
Tommy Davis.
No, he was not.
So. Yeah, that's right. I know they played about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy is from here in Brooklyn.
Yeah, right. Well, that's terrific.
Eric, are you familiar with the jingle that was in the L.A. papers and was made famous by the L.A. fans as Tommy is not Willie and Willie is not...
yes, I've heard it.
Differences in Davises can be seen in many ways. Willie is not Tommy and Tommy is not Mays.
Yes.
That's great.
I have heard it. It's a wonderful, wonderful jingle. Absolutely.
I'm sorry I screwed it up a little bit, but that was the best I could do for a Sunday morning.
Understandable.
I am so thrilled to have you on the George Case Show that I will have George question you first, and then we're going to go around the table because
sure.
Everybody wants to, I'm sure, wants to get your story and questions asked. So George Case III.
Absolutely.
Host of the show.
Eric, I'm really interested. Dad was a major league ball player, so you and I have something in common with your knowledge of Willie as a ball player. My dad played in the 30s and 40s, so. And one of my very good friends, Jeff Torberg, was the catcher on the Dodgers, and I believe your dad was playing for the Dodgers at that point. So
yes.
That would have been around, I guess, well, Jeff started, I think, in 65. He caught Koufax's perfect game that season. And,
yep, they were teammates.
With the Dodgers for quite a few years. I know that he and Willie, and, they had quite a ball club. So, but I'm very interested in talking to you because, you've had a lot of experiences. You've found out just recently, I've known all my life about my dad being a ball player. So, baseball is in both of our blood, and you as a player yourself. So it's very, very interesting, and I'm glad we had the chance to meet you on this podcast, and look forward to hearing some more of your baseball stories.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, George. I really appreciate that and the kind words. It's very it's a surreal moment, to be looking at myself as a former major leaguer, and then to find out this news. It's like, okay, yeah, I look exactly like them, and the parallels that can be drawn through our experience.
Sure.
I ended up playing for the Dodgers. I ended up going to Japan to play just like my father did. It's just I don't know where to start in the description, but it's, I'm living it. I'm living it, and it's a great experience. Again, like I said, the Davis family has embraced me. I'm looking to legally change my name to add Davis onto the end of it. So it's just, I'm 50 years old right now, and, I would have loved to have had a relationship with my dad along the way, and, been in those major league clubhouses with all of those great players and this and that, but somehow I found my way home. And
Great.
It's just
fabulous.
It's just a wonderful thing. It really is.
I guess it was
what a terrific
Derek,
story.
I guess it was quite a shock for you though when you found out when that DNA test came back and you saw how you were related.
It really was a shock. And if you will, I'll give you the story about how I found out. My daughter, Erica, had taken a DNA test, and, a lot of people just like to take DNA to see, where they're from, their family roots, and this and that. And she came to me and her mother one day, and she said, hey, how about you all take this DNA test so we can find out more about our family? So, I was like, okay, baby, all right. So I took the DNA test, and my results came back. Opened up my email one day, and I was going over the list of, people who I'm connected in, and the first people I see on my DNA test were people that I knew. They're from my family. My daughter was listed first, my brother Michael, a couple, aunt and uncle there, and then there was another person listed under the name of Bert Sells. And so I went to my mother and I said, Mom, who is this lady named Martha Bert Sells? And she said, well, I don't know, sweetheart, that must be somebody on your father's side as a family. And so I did my own investigation. I began to talk to this lady, Martha Bert. And by the way, so you can follow along with this. So the name Bert is Willie's mother's maiden name. Okay.
Huh.
And so, I'm doing my investigation. I'm sending pictures back and forth with this woman, and finally I sent her a picture of my baseball uniform. She said, oh, you're the second most famous baseball player in the family. And I said, well, now who's the first? And she said, my first cousin is Willie Davis. And right when she said Willie Davis, I knew that Willie was my father because I had remembered, my mother some years back telling me that she had dated Willie Davis along back in the very early 60s. And so, right when she said Willie Davis, I knew at that moment that he was my father.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is an amazing story.
How much did you know about Willie Davis before all of this?
Oh, I knew a lot about Willie Davis. My first baseball glove as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid was a Willie Davis Wilson model. I used to play sandlot, practice, every kid has a stance. Willie Davis was my stance.
Wow.
That amazing.
I knew a lot about his career. I knew a lot about it. Absolutely knew a lot about his career. And, I had often looked at pictures of Willie and said, hey, kind of look like this guy, and it kind of crossed my mind. But, I knew a lot about his career growing up. Absolutely.
Okay, let me give you to David Hubler. I'm sure he has a question.
Hi, David.
Yeah, hi, good morning, I guess, depending on where you are. We're into the afternoon already on the East Coast. So that's why I'm a little slow this morning because of daylight savings time ended. But
David, it's 3 a.m. here.
Yeah. You're always
Central Time. I'm in Texas.
Okay.
I'm in Texas. I'm Central Time, but I have a place in California too, and I just got back from California, so I'm a little thrown off by time, but it's all good.
Okay.
Right.
What part of Texas are you in?
I'm in Sugar Land, Texas. I'm in a suburb of Houston, probably about 25 minutes outside the city.
Is there a way we can get the ransom paid?
That's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking. We could do anything we can to help if we can do it.
All good.
David, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm one of these people who have always been in awe, and I'm sure most of the guys on the panel, maybe George isn't, but in awe of the guys who do make it into the major leagues, because it seems to be such an overwhelmingly great accomplishment that most of us can't possibly appreciate. And so I'm always curious as to, what made you move into baseball? How soon did you realize that you were special in terms of your classmates, teammates? I'd like to hear a little bit about that part of your growing up background.
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. I knew that I wanted to play in the major leagues from about the age, I would say, of maybe 9 or 10. That's all I dreamed about. That's all I fantasized about. All I wanted to do was play baseball, whether it be sandlot, whether it be organized with the school, little league. That's all I wanted to do was play baseball. And I knew that I had baseball in my blood and that one day I was going to play in the major leagues. The beautiful thing about that is that, the part where I say that all I wanted to do, why a lot of kids are waking up on Saturday mornings, going out to, play or do whatever they do. I was watching Game of the Week. And if the Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, the Oakland A's, the New York Yankees weren't, playing Detroit Tigers, I was upset. All I wanted to do was watch that Game of the Week on Saturday. It was just a great time. And then seeing those great players of the 70s, the 60s and 70s and 80s play, it was a magical time in baseball. It really was.
Did you have an opportunity to play organized ball at that young age? Some areas they don't really have like Little League or Babe Ruth League opportunities.
Yes, I did. I played. My first year was 7 years old. 6 years old when kids usually start these days. With T-ball and this and that, but they called it minor ball back then, and it started at 7. 7 through 9 was the age group, and that's where I got my start. And then we were using wood bats back then, which was, the game was pure. These kids are using these aluminum bats. It's scary. Yeah, it's like, wow,
even in college they use those.
Yeah,
I don't like
crazy.
them. I don't like them either.
I don't like it either. Never did like them.
Yeah. No, Eric, you and I talked on Facebook a couple times about your experiences in Boston. In Boston, remember we talked about that when they were the last team to integrate.
Yes, I do. I do remember.
Like 12 years after Jackie got in, it was crazy. But I understand that when we talked, you had mentioned to me that you had experiences there that weren't too great. There was a lot of prejudice there in Boston.
Lots of it, It's almost hard to talk about, but Ron, it's
sure.
I'll just say that there's a lot of things that were coming out of the stands that aren't supposed to be part of the deal. Okay.
Right.
That's one thing to pay your money and get into the stands and, watch the ball game. Everybody's, there's going to be hecklers here and there, but it was just venomous in Boston.
It was terrible,
I just really couldn't believe at times what I was hearing. And from what my understanding is that it's still that way. A lot of racist comments coming out of the stands in Boston. And another place that I need to mention while we're on the subject is Chicago. Chicago was bad. It was very bad.
Chicago.
Yes. Cubs. Chicago
really?
Cubs.
That's
Absolutely
surprising.
bad.
I was expecting you to say St. Louis. But
No. St. Louis was a great experience. Great baseball fans. People in St. Louis would stand up and cheer if you were a visiting player that made a great, outstanding play. Nothing but good things to say about St. Louis, man. I had very bad experiences in Boston, number one, and then Chicago, number two. Now, I'll say this, too. In New York, people like to throw things. Not so much what they say. In New York, you'd almost find yourself out in the outfield with a batting helmet on in New York. No kidding. People throwing batteries, large and big coins. It can be dangerous out there in New York.
It can be dangerous. It can be dangerous.
Well, this is a good segue to bring in Al Blumpkin, who's a New Yorker, and I can honestly say from everything I've heard, never as a fan threw anything at a player.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Most of the time, Zane was terrible.
Most of the time I was too far away.
He just had that lousy aim.
I never. And one of the things that turned me off going in later years, especially when they opened the new stadium, was the fans have changed.
Right.
They take it personally now when the team loses or does something that they don't approve of. It's a whole new mentality now.
Right.
Which Eric, what about Philadelphia?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Okay, with several R's. Horrible.
Yeah.
All right. But the thing that I'll say about the things, albeit it wasn't a great environment to play in Philly and New York, but I'll say this: I never heard anything racial coming out of the stands in either one of those places that I heard in Boston and in Chicago. Okay. Yeah, any player can take being heckled, but when you start thinking things about people's race, it's very classless. And then at that point, it's just like, wow, okay, this place is a dump.
Oh, here most they'll boo you if you don't hustle, and they'll boo you.
Absolutely.
If you're in the other team, you start a fight like Pete Rose did with Varelson back in 1973. But they will not get on you if they see that in the old days. Now I can't talk about what it is like now, but if they saw you busting your tail to do something, they would like it very much. If you looked like you were jaking it, then they would get on your case.
Absolutely. I've had wonderful experiences playing in New York. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Huh. That's
Okay.
great. That's
Could
great.
have you played there? Do you think you would have enjoyed playing there as a home team guy?
Absolutely. You know, I'd like to consider myself a baseball purist, you know, and with the New York Yankees, that's a lot of history there. Okay, that's a lot of the Major League Baseball's history is in New York, and so I think I would have done well there and played well there. I love the city, the people, and I think I would have done well there in New York. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you keep up with today's game, and have you ever been tempted? As articulate as you are, you'd be a great coach. Have you been tempted to do that?
Yeah, I have at times. In fact, I'll tell you a little story, and thank you, by the way. I was hired by Boston in 2006 to manage one of their minor league clubs. And
Really?
so I declined, to manage their Lowell ball club. I flew in, I talked to Theo Epstein, Mike Hayes, and then a couple of other people there in the front office, and they hired me on the spot. And the conflict that I had was that I had just started a tech company at the time, and I wasn't able to, I just didn't want to drop the ball on my investors, so I declined to take the managerial job, and plus it wasn't paying enough. And so I declined to take the job. But yes, I have been tempted to get back in the game. I'm still young enough. I think I'm young enough. I'm only 50. And I think I can relate to today's player, what they require and what they
Would
need.
you speak to analytics as you see it?
I see analytics as not so important as people are making it to be.
Right.
Okay?
I agree.
I think it's a bunch of garbage, to be honest with you guys. Either you can play,
Join the
either
club.
you can't.
Join the club.
Either you can play, either you can play, either you can't. Either you got a hunch about it or you don't know anything about it. All of these numbers crunchers that they're bringing in from Harvard and Yale and all of this stuff it's diluting the game, the purity of the game.
Yes, it is.
And if you want my honest opinion, it's garbage. Okay?
It's garbage. I agree. You know the
Hey,
Dodgers
Eric, not to skip around, but who told you you were going to the big leagues?
I did. And my belief in God.
As a kid, I'm sure, but who told you when you were called up? How did you find out about it?
Oh, okay. I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, playing against the Blue Jays organization, and I was at the time with Houston's organization. And Bob Watson, who was the assistant general manager of the Houston Astros at the time, had come down to see this kid tearing up the minor leagues, to make a decision to call me up. And after the game one night in Knoxville, he called me aside and said, "I'm taking you back to Houston with me." And so that's how I found out I was coming to the Major Leagues. And Bobby Watson was the one who brought me there. Funny story about the Bob Watson, when I found out that Willie Davis was my father, of course, Bob Watson, I've always been close with his family since the day that he brought me to the Major Leagues. Come to find out, Bob Watson and my father were very close friends from high school all the way to the Major Leagues.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
From before high school, all the way to the Major Leagues.
I can imagine the thoughts that went through Bob Watson's
Oh,
head.
my God. He was tripping out. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, it was quite a treat to him as well, and he had a lot of different stories to share with me about my father, which was special and a treat for me. And again, gentlemen, I'll just say that it's been a great experience. It's been a great experience.
That's fabulous.
Well, you couldn't accuse Bob Watson of favoritism, since He didn't know.
He didn't know before, right?
Right.
He didn't know whatsoever. He had no idea, no clue.
Just based on his baseball acumen, that he knew you were going to make it. Yeah, that's great.
That is terrific.
Eric, this has been the most interesting interview since I interviewed Ron Rabinovich about Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I thank you very much for those kind words, and I hope that
you will come back.
I was able to bless you all with something today.
Yes,
you sure were.
Come back from time to time and join us because
we would love it.
You're terrific.
Thank you very much, and I will come back anytime.
I don't want to sell anybody short.
With you.
Let's go around real quick before we close.
Sure.
Let's go around the horn one more time. George Case.
You bet.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to, say that I agree with Eric's analysis of sabermetrics analytics. Different generation, but I've said many, many times, I just believe the game is to be played and not to be run by, Harvard and Yale MBAs. And I'm with you, Eric. I just do not like the current, escape velocity, launch angles, all this stuff they're talking about, all the acronyms, all the words that they're using. To me, as the son of a former player, my dad played the game. I've been around the game all my life. I love baseball. I love the way it used to be. I'm not in love with the game as it is.
That's right, George.
Right. I feel the same way.
David Hubler.
Yeah, a quick question. If someone asks you to pick the best 9 players you played against or with, who would be your first pick?
Against or with?
Yeah, you're going to put together an all-star team of contemporaries.
Okay. My first pick, Ken Griffey Jr. No doubt. No doubt. Had it all. Absolutely. Power, speed, cannon throwing arm, the personality to go with all of the tools. Just Ken Griffey Jr.
Hey, Eric, here's a connect for you. I was the Topps rep with the $5 checks, and I signed Griffey Jr. to his Topps contract. He was 17 in Billingham, Washington, and we had to send it away to his dad because he was only 17. His dad had to co-sign it. So
I've known Junior that long, since we were about 16 or 17 years old, and we ended up being teammates in Seattle. So it was a great experience playing with him.
Well, I don't know. The trainer was a guy named Spider Webb in Billingham, Washington. So,
wow.
Just had to mention that. Get Spider's
That's
name.
great.
Eric Jr. was the one that reached out to the commissioner to wear number 42 on April 15th.
Say it again, sir. I didn't hear you. I did not. I didn't hear you. Can you say it again?
Ken Griffey Jr. was the one that called the commissioner, Bud Selig, and said, I would like to wear number 42 on April 15th in honor of Jackie. And
I did not know that.
Started. Yes.
I did not know that. That's a great story. That's a great story.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me at all.
And everybody wears that number now, 42, on April 15th.
That's
My
great.
friend
what I remember about him is his infectious smile.
Yes.
He just lit up the room.
Yep. Still like that.
Yeah.
You know when Junior's in the building. There's no question about it.
You still in touch with him?
Yeah, we talk every once in a while, time to time.
Good.
Well, next time you talk to him, tell him you talked to the Topps rep from.
I will. I'll definitely do that.
Okay, that sounds great.
For sure.
Eric,
let me go to Al Blumpkin with your final thoughts.
Okay, just wanted to know, how did you like playing the Astronome all those years? I saw on your baseball reference page that you were there for 5 years.
Yes, sir, Al. It was a good experience. When I came to the major leagues with Houston, I was on a veteran team, so I was like maybe one of 2 or 3 rookies on the team at the time, so that was a little turbulent. But you know, I was part of a major rebuilding effort in Houston, and I had a great experience here playing for the ball club and in the city. I still have a home here in Houston, so yeah, nothing but good things to say. I will say though that very hard to see the ball in the Astrodome because you know they didn't have a backdrop. There was an empty space behind the wall back there with just, you know, an open area, and it was difficult to see the ball in the Astrodome. But a great place to play.
As a fielder, it was the same thing, not just
yes, that white ball coming out of that ball coming out of the dome roof, and you could very easily lose it there. Very easily lose it, which you've been watching baseball a long time, and you saw a lot of games there where people dropped fly balls because they couldn't see them.
Sure.
Because of the roof.
Yeah.
Was it a major adjustment going from a place like that to playing outdoors when you went on the road?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it always felt better on the road to me. You know, like I said, you had to be on top of your defensive game playing in the Houston Astrodome. No question about it. That roof was a major factor. No one can deny that. You know, the fencing.
Does AstroTurf wear on your body?
Yeah, great question.
It's yours.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I believe that AstroTurf shortened my career, my major league playing career. I really do.
Really?
I played 8 straight years on it, and by the time I got off of the turf to the Los Angeles Dodgers, which, in my opinion, is the best stadium in the major leagues. I mean, that grass, that surface, it's a wonderful place to play. It was like my knees were like just, you know, wow, we're finally off of that. AstroTurf is garbage. It destroys people's careers. They need to get rid of all of it in all of sports.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I agree.
May I ask you one final question? Get off baseball for a second. What's it like for a minority to live in Texas? Because we're all Easterners, or I live out in California now. I was stationed in Texas in the Air Force, and that was like literally 50 years ago. But it wasn't all that great then, I remember. What's it like I'm a minority. What's it like for a minority?
Well, my experience has been good. It's been really good here in Texas. I have not had any racially motivated incidents come up for me or my family. The people here have been very kind, I need to say. But I will say that in the current political climate, you can see people's attitudes and who they really are coming out. You know, and it's sad to say, but I need to be honest about it. Texas is changing.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very concerned about that too, with the white supremacists and all the problems that's going on right now.
It's really ridiculous. It's really
terrible.
ridiculous what we're saying.
Terrible.
But
he likes to be called president. He doesn't like to be called white supremacist.
Yeah, I understand. But we need to understand that this is a necessary time in history for us to live through, and so that we can move on and go forward and go higher than where we are now. I think a lot of people are being exposed now for their true selves. You know, it's just if you look at just what happened in Pittsburgh last week at the synagogue, and for our president of the United States not to have the emotional
about his hair in the rain.
To have the emotional capacity to embrace the community there and make it about him it's mind-boggling. It's baffling to
disgusting
me in some way.
When I think about
really
Barack Obama, he would have been there, and it would have been such a different thing. How he would react to people like that in Trump.
I have to say, as much as I dislike Bush and the rest of them on one level or another, they would have been there. They would have shown the compassion.
Right.
I can't think of anybody, any human being that wouldn't.
Trump is incapable of empathy.
That's
There's
right.
no question
Totally
about that. There's
incapable of
something
it.
wrong here.
Yeah.
There's something wrong here.
Yeah, it really is.
But God is watching us all. He's watching over us. America's a great country. It's going to continue to be a great country. We all just have to find a way to talk about our differences, whatever they are, and find common ground there. And I think America has the fortitude inside to do that. We've always shown to be great in adverse moments, and I think this time in history will prove no different.
I think you're right, too.
I hope you're right.
I hope you're right. Believe me. This is
do.
so disturbing.
Hey, let's get out the vote. That's the most important thing.
That's
we got
right.
2 days, and there's nothing we can do about anything but the vote. And
that's it.
Trust
Look, protesting, marching, people throwing things, all of it. None of that is going to do any good. The vote is what's going to make your voice heard, whatever side you're on.
Don't boo, vote.
That's right. That's right.
Don't boo, vote.
Get out and vote. I voted early, gentlemen. I voted in the early voting. We don't
have that here.
The masses.
We don't have that here in New York.
Oh, wow. Well, hang with them. You got a long line coming on Tuesday, but I'll be praying for you in that line.
Okay.
All right.
That's right. We should be all right.
Thank you.
And on a baseball note, what is war good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so
much. Thanks so much.
Thanks for surprising
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being with you all.
Come back soon.
Ron, let's stay in touch, my friend, okay?
That's we will. We sure will.
I will get this published and send you all a link to it today. So, again, thank you. And if you're out there listening, I want George Case to say a few words about the sponsor of this show, George.
Well, I appreciate that, Ralph, and I've enjoyed this session with Eric. It's very very enlightening. And what I wanted to just mention to everybody, if you are a baseball fan, if you're interested in Major League Baseball behind the scenes, our DVD is called Ballfield, the Battlefield and Back, from FDR to JFK, and it's in color, narration by my dad and Mickey Vernon, all about World War II era Major League Baseball. So it's not game footage, and if you're expecting to see ball players playing the game, the DVD is not for you. But on the other hand, it is the life, and I'm sure Eric knows very much the way a ball player's life is a lot more than just being on the field. So that's what our DVD is. It's called Ballfield, the Battlefield and Back, from FDR to JFK. And our website is www.timelessbaseball.com. And again, my name is George Case, and it's anything that anybody has a question about. My email is case67@verizon.net, and I've heard from so many people over the years about the content. They really like it, and I enjoy being part of it and be on this podcast on a weekly basis with Ralph and Alan and David, and now with Eric. It's very enjoyable for me.
Okay, George, may I mention one thing? One of the people instrumental in the DVD is Mickey Vernon. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, the footage and narration was done by my dad and Mickey, and they were not only teammates, but Mickey was the manager, as David knows, the expansion Senators. And my dad was his third base coach, and Mickey and my father had been very, very close for many, many years, and he was a big part of our family as well.
Well, I picked up on something this week. Mickey Vernon played for a minor league team, MV, and it was the cap logo, MV, which was his initials, Mickey Vernon. Do you remember that name of that team?
Yes, I do. And you know what? I saw that, Ralph. It was the Vancouver Mounties. And the VM and the MV, that was it. Somebody said to me about, geez, Mickey has his own hat. but that was in the Pacific Coast League, and actually my dad was managing in Hawaii at the time when Mickey was managing in Vancouver. So yeah, that Mickey Vernon hat, the MV was the Vancouver Mounties.
Vancouver Mounties.
I don't have to die curious about that one, and I think that was as interesting as anything I've seen this week. So, again, thank you guys. This has been a terrific show. If you're listening out there, tell your friends about it. Forward this to your friends.
Okay.
Be well, and we'll be back next week. David, at the bottom of the hour.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye,
everybody.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye-bye. It's been a great day. Thank you.
Take care.
The proceeding was a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. Thank you for listening.